So I'm back with another guide video, and it's of course it's gonna be the E100 again. Yes, I'm doing a full-on remaster on my guide video on the E100. And without further ado, we're gonna be covering its line, whether you should grind this or not, and the equipment setup, whether it's good or not. And without further ado, let's start off with the E100. So we'll be covering its line, and starting from, I would start around tier 5, but since the Panzer IV-G is more like a medium, we're gonna have to start with the VK36. Now starting off with the VK36, it's a tier 6 German heavy that is one of the most armored tier 6 tanks from what I've heard. It's basically a tier 6 Tiger. What else could I say about it? Um, it's also pretty mobile with 45 kilometer kph going forward, and yeah, other than that, it's has pretty solid armor, to be honest, unless you get penned with Pramo. Moving on with the Tiger one, it's not that great. Its hull armor is weak. So you should play this as some type of support tank, but it's still pretty good. It has also a quick firing gun. It may say 6 seconds, but believe me when I say this, it's like 5 seconds per shot. It's like 5 seconds of reload time, and its damage is also great. But personally, if I were you, I would free XP my way, but it's still pretty good. But moving on with the Tiger 2. It's one of my favorite tier 8s. I made a video on this before, and let me just say, it's one of the best tier 8 heavies. Now, its hull armor is really strong, and its lower glacis plate is also really strong as well. Literally, most tier 7s can't pen, unless we're talking about, tank destroyers that have surprisingly high pen, and, well, obviously, the ISU could literally pen its entire front. But other than that, it is really good with a lot of HP, and it has a 105mm cannon that has 8 seconds of reload, but surprisingly good pen, and 310 damage per shot. It's just that good. And moving on with the E75, it's just like its predecessor, but even better. And it's just a Tiger 2 with a 128mm gun that deals 460 damage per shot, which is a lot. Compare that with its with really surprisingly good pen. Yeah, it's completely well armored. And what I mean by that, its turret is really strong, and also its hull armor, it's also strong. Of course, it may say 180mm, but it's angled. It's like at a steep angle. So yeah, and when you're angling, it basically becomes a giant. It's like a fortress. And finally, the main prize of the line is the E100. Like I said, it's like its predecessor, but it has 660 damage per shot, which is a lot. It used to be 680, but after it got its changes, it's got a minor nerf with its gun, but it's still pretty nice. And yeah, we're gonna be it actually has 2 optional guns. One is a 128mm gun, and the other is a 15cm. And apparently its 128 got a buff. It now has a far quicker reload, so if you run rammer, yeah, as you can see, 9 seconds. That is really fast, but to be honest, I would still recommend you to use the 15cm, since it's really effective. Sure, while it may have less DPM, let's be honest, it's still a lot. Now, going with the equipment setup, your consumables and provisions, starting off with the simple consumable setup. We have the repair kit, multi-purpose, and adrenaline for that extra DPM. Moving on with provisions, we have chocolate bar and chocolate, which gives you a quicker reload and more DPM. Not to mention, it also gives you a faster average speed, and we're even making it better with improved fuel. Now, of course, you could switch this with the protective kit to have more of that repair speed, and it's just good in my honest opinion. I would personally just, yeah, you can either run protective kit and improve fuel. You know what? We're gonna replace this because, well, the E-100 is slow as it is. And moving on with ammunition, we will run 20 rounds of AP, 15 rounds of heat, and 10 rounds of HE. For the equipment, for combat power, we have calibrated shells for more pen. If you just run rammer, you're just only getting like 100 more DPM, and that's gonna be pointless. So just run Cali. It's really effective. Not to mention, it'll have a lot more HE pen. And once you manage to pen a enemy tank with paper armor, it's gonna do a lot of damage with HE, especially when you fire at the rears of some heavies. And you also run enhanced gun leg drive and vertical stabs, since it gives you quicker reload time. No, I mean aiming time. And moving on with vitality, run with improved modules for that track durability, enhanced armor for its armor to be stronger, for stronger armor. I mean, it already has a lot of HP as it is, 2,750. Although you could run improved assembly, I'm fine with that. It gives you like 2,860 HP, but for me, I just run enhanced armor and also run the toolbox. Of course, you could run enhanced tracks, but I just want that toolbox effect in my honest opinion. And and finally, specialization, run with improved optics for that farther view range. Also run improved control. Of course, you can run an engine accelerator, but I just want improved control. And finally, consumable delivery system, which is to get the faster cooldown. Now, how do you play this tank in the front lines? Basically, you want to make sure that you're like not alone, probably accompanied by a few other heavies, probably even some mediums, and you want to play this tank really aggressively. So like, it's really good in urban maps like New Bay, Himmelsdorf. It could do really great there, and you could play this tank to your fullest. And when going on the front lines, you want to always remember that your lower glacis plate is obviously weak, and potentially light tanks could flank you and probably dish out a lot of damage towards you. So you want to make sure that you're, like I said, you have to make sure that you're accompanied by at least other tanks, and there will be like your support vehicles. And when you're side scraping, it's obviously a god at side scraping. And while you're reloading, make sure, and you're out in the open, like no other protection, make sure you angle your turret like around 45 degrees to block a lot of damage. And yeah, you'd block some damage, except your little turret wedges will, like, obviously is a weak spot. This entire turret ring is completely weak, but other than that, you will survive. And if you get hit, and once you're hit, don't immediately just spam help. I mean, you still have plenty of HP. Like I said, you have 2,750 HP already. So just stop being a coward and just continue to fight. But overall, the E-100 is a good tank. So would I recommend you guys to get it? Yes, of course you should get it. It's another great tank for beginners. I once said that the T110 E5 is a great tank for beginners, and the E100 is too. It could, like, has a lot of HP. It's like, if you want to be a little more aggressive, you can go through this line, and the line is smooth. I'd personally like free XP my way to the Tiger 2. I'll just use my free XP on the Tiger 1 and just move on with the Tiger 2. And yeah, that's how you play the E100. That's a bit of my guide for you. Yeah, I'll end the video here. If you want to, like I said, if you want to see more videos, make sure you subscribe, because, well, my channel is still young. And I'll see you guys in the next video.